Welcome everybody to the here and now, to this moment. So good to be with you on the Piergrossi podcast, episode 185. When you're entering, you can share where you're from. Love seeing where everyone's joining us from around the world. This seems like it's going to be a Friday thing, is how it's feeling. David Fisher from San Antonio, Texas, my cousin. Good to see you here. And Brandy joining us on Instagram. And feel free to share when there's inspiration, when there's positive energy coming into your life, when there's something that's uplifting, transformational. It amplifies it for you and everyone in your life when you share it. And it just takes just a little share button. It's just so simple to do it. So feel free to click the share button and feel free to settle in, get something that you enjoy drinking or snacking on. And we're going to go deep today. We're going to resolve. We're going to get to the heart of the issue, get to the heart of the matter today. All right. We're going to get to everything at the core of why there's suffering in your life, in the world, in the human collective, in the human consciousness. That's a big prediction, right? So first, I want to tell you about some exciting news, some exciting updates. These are things that I've been excited to share, but it hasn't felt like the right moment and not quite there yet. But I think let's just go for it. It's Friday. Let's just let it loose. Oh, and I have a new microphone. Look at this thing. Love it. I don't know how it sounds, but I like the way it looks. As long as it looks good, who cares what it sounds like, right? So stepping up, new microphone. Hey, Christopher. Mohammed, welcome everybody. There's a podcast project that I've been working on for several months now. And I'm going to tell you what it is for the first time right now. And you're going to hear it soon. So there's a word Tantra, right? What is Tantra? You hear this word so many different ways, used so many different ways in such a variety of offerings and teachings. And what exactly does it mean? Tantra. What is Tantra? So I started to ask people this question, right? And I started asking world-class teachers, global teachers. I started asking people that lead workshops around the world. I asked someone who's 85 years old, who's been practicing Tantra for much of their life. I asked someone who's more of a student on the path. I asked people who are gay. I asked people who are straight. I asked women. I asked men. I asked people of diverse backgrounds. What is Tantra? And I recorded all these conversations. And I'm going to share them in a podcast called What is Tantra? So I'm really excited to share that with you. There's some really kind of edgy conversations, maybe over the edge conversations. Really interesting, fascinating stuff. So I'll be sharing that in the coming weeks and also offering a way for you to delve into a training that I'll be offering in relationship to that. So look forward to that. We had some amazing travels, and we were in Italy, we were in Ibiza, we were in Barcelona, we were in New York, we were in Pennsylvania, we were back in Asheville, and we're grounding in Asheville and committed to being in Asheville without any major trips, some small ones, but without any major ones for the rest of the year. So that commitment feels really good, and we are committed to offering things in the community here in Asheville. So offering my first meditation satsang in a while this month. I have a group called Well, it's a mastermind group. And I'm really excited to offer people a way to delve in a really practical, accessible way, accessing the tools to have the accountability to take the action to move forward day by day, step by step, on actualizing and realizing all the potential inside you in the areas of your relationships, in the areas of your work, in the areas of your finances, in the areas of your health, in the areas of your wealth, in the areas of your spiritual connection and communion, which is the core, and bring that out into the world and have a group of people that support you in that. So that's going to be happening national. That's also going to be happening globally, internationally. So that'll be next. So if you feel like, oh, I wish I was there to pay, so there will be something for you coming soon. So stay tuned for a mastermind for Asheville in the next few weeks, and then a mastermind for the planet coming up. I actually have notes today. Can you believe that? I never have notes. This is crazy. How crazy is that? I have notes. Look, there's stuff written on here. It's for real. See, look, there's stuff written. Can you see that? There you go. It's all like kind of scribbly though. Silent Retreat, October in Gainesville, Florida. Silent Retreat is a powerful, incredible way to, I think of it as like that computer. You know, when your computer's getting all like fragmented and it's getting all slow and freezing, and you just like turn it off and you turn it back on and it's like fresh and it's renewed and it's alive and everything works perfectly. That's what a silent retreat does. So if you never experienced it, effectively the way that we do it, there's no one else doing it like us because we bring embodiment principles into it. Monk says on Instagram, dude, overdue, you officially rock, bro. Thank you, my friend. Were you in Russia, Ukraine? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're working on a New Year's retreat. Also, this will be our third annual New Year's retreat. This is going to be special. It's going to be different this year. That's with my my buddy John Stringer, my Germany, awesome. My buddy John Stringer, my collaborator, my friend, my rock star brother. Speaking of rock stars, he's going to be co-creating that with us, along with Annie and his wife Kathy. So look for that. We're going to get that going soon, the third annual New Year's retreat, which kind of brings a different angle to bringing the new year in a very conscious, intentional way that's filled with love vibration and co-creation and unified field of consciousness. It's really amazing. And I'm excited to just create. Someone said to me the other day, like, I think what you're really about is creating community. And that's 100% true, because we're here, like, if we weren't supposed to interact together and come together with each other, we would just be isolated and alone. You know, we'd just be like, just me on this planet Earth by myself. But we're here to come together with others and reflect and resonate and amplify the energy that comes through us, that's channeled through us, and then it becomes multiplied. Right? It becomes multiplied when we're in a unified field that starts from a place of presence. Don't you just love this microphone? Let's look at it again. Wow, so beautiful. It's my new microphone. It's very exciting. It makes it feel like it's like a real podcast, you know? Maybe even if it was like a prop, I would still have it there so it looked like it was, but it's actually real. There's like, look, there's like a cord. See that? It's actually hooked into the computer. Okay, I won't move the microphone anymore. It's probably making a lot of noise. So it amplifies the field. There's this multiplication of the energy, you know, and that's what the podcast is, right? When you rest into the state of presence, presence is the foundation of everything. Presence is the foundation of everything. Presence, 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 presence. Being in the moment, being here now. This now is all there is. There is no other now. This now is all there is. There is no other now. There is no future. There is no past. There's only for always and forever right now. So it's so simple. It's so simple. Be here now. Stop worrying about the future. Stop worrying about the past. There is no future. There is no past. There's only ever right now. It's not complicated. You don't need to have a big processor of a brain. That's actually the problem, not the solution, right? It's very simple, super simple, so simple that it can be easy to miss, right? It can be easy to just miss the simple magic, miraculousness of now. The simple, magical, miraculousness of now. The simple, magical, miraculousness of this moment right now. And when you tune in and you're here, and the body relaxes, and the mind relaxes, and the heart opens, you start to see in a way you've never seen before, right? So we were talking about this in a private group I did earlier this week, in the sense of when you see somebody and they look really beautiful, right? Are they beautiful, or is your perception of them what's truly beautiful? Does that make sense? So when you're in this consciousness, when you're deeply present, when you're deeply awake, when you're deeply alive, when you're deeply here, when you're deeply in this moment right now, everything is in the nature of the miraculous. Everything is in the nature of the magical. Everything is beautiful. What a radical thing to say, right? It's very upsetting to people when I talk about everything being beautiful. What about people being tortured? What about people being raped and molested and killed? And what about Donald Trump? And what about all this stuff, right? It doesn't mean that everything feels good. It doesn't really mean anything, right? Whatever is painful is painful. Whatever is sad is sad. Whatever is happy is happy. Whatever is joyful is joyful. Whatever is unhappy is unhappy. Whatever causes pain causes pain. Who's ever acting like a jerk off is acting like a jerk off. But there's some kind of magnificent beauty that underlies all of it. And that's just the way it is. And it can't be tainted. It can't be taken away. It cannot be removed. There's no possible way to remove it. There's no possible way to add to it. You can't add to it. You can't subtract it. It's the ground. It's the foundation of everything that we experience, is this immense, what shall we call it? Beauty, miraculousness, magic. There's something that can't be explained, right? And it's the essence of who we are. It's the essence of who and what we are. It cannot be killed. It cannot be born. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be added to. Everything else just appears and disappears out of this glow, right? Sometimes I call it the big glow, and sometimes now I call it the super glow, right? Everything appears and disappears out of this infinite awareness of who and what we are, this infinite awareness of who and what we are. So who are we and what are we? This leads into our title today: Becoming Nobody Trumps Suffering. What in the hell does that mean? It doesn't even sound like a sentence. Please allow me to explain. I've been very excited the past couple of weeks about a movie that's coming out. The movie is called Becoming Nobody. And that's why I'm so excited. I'm so excited because the title is called Becoming Nobody. Thank you, Karina. And okay, I see there's questions, comments coming in on Facebook. Feel free to ask questions and comments on Instagram. I forgot to mention, you can ask questions and comments anytime. So I'll get to those in a moment. But first we got to talk about this movie, okay? So the movie is called Becoming Nobody. It's a documentary on the life of Ram Dass. Quite a few of you know Ram Dass, I believe. Some of you may not, I believe. But Ram Dass was at the cutting edge of bringing the awakening of consciousness to the Western world and the Western culture from the mid-1960s to the present. So we're talking 60 years, right? So he wrote a book, which is his most famous book, which is Be Here Now. Be Here Now, title of the book. He started his spiritual journey delving into, he was at the forefront, kind of the cutting edge at the time with Dr. Timothy Leary of delving into LSD, delving into psychedelics, hallucinogenics. Then went to India, found his teacher, devoted himself to meditation, and he realized that what he was seeking through LSD, he could access in the same way that was more sustainable through meditation. He devoted his life to meditation, spiritual practices, and so forth. Okay, so let's take a sip of water. And in the realization, in the opening in consciousness, there's this recognition and realization of the essence of who you are. So when you go deeply, truly deeply into the state of meditation, when you go truly deeply into the state of spiritual awakening, of spiritual awareness, you come into the essence of who and what you truly are. And the essence of who and what you truly are is, ready for it? No one. The essence of who and what you truly are is no one, nobody, no thing. Sounds really dull and boring, as a client I had recently said to me. Sounds dull, boring. I understand. It sounds dull, boring. Why would you want to be nothing? Let's go further. So you realize you are nothing, you are nobody, you are no one, and it creates this vast, infinite space. Creates this vast, infinite space. And when I say it creates this vast, infinite space, what I mean is you realize yourself as this vast, infinite space. So the infinite, vast space is you. You are the vast, infinite space, and the vast, infinite space is you. You are the vast, infinite space, and the infinite space is you. I'll just talk about spirituality, your soul, your spirit, your essence, your whatever. It's all pointing to this vast, infinite space, the stillness, right? It's another term people use, the eternal now, the timelessness, vast, infinite space that's free of content. Vast, infinite space is you. You are the infinite vast space, and the infinite vast space is you. Like a blank canvas. Like a blank canvas. Blank canvas. So when you understand it's a blank canvas, now things start to get a little bit more exciting. Now they start to get more interesting. Now the creative juices start to get flowing, right? Wait a second. What I really am, now listen closely, this is a game changer right here. And this is the essence of what I want to share with the world. Like what people are looking for, I have the answer to it. And this is it. So it's a matter of getting this out, disseminating this out to more people so they get it, they understand it. It's the culmination, it's the next level of all these religious teachings, all these new age teachings. All that stuff is at a certain point, I'm not going to say obviously it's necessary for many people, right? So obviously, clearly it is necessary for many people, it's valuable for many people. But there's a certain point where it's not necessary anymore, it's not helpful anymore, it's not where you're going to end up, right? Where you're going to end up is this place right here, this vast, infinite space, like a blank canvas. This is the next level, and this is the teaching, if you want to call it a teaching. This is the teaching to get out to people. This is the teaching to share with people, right? This is the big glow. This is the super glow. This is the VIP. This is what brings vitality, intimacy, and purpose. This is it right here. The 0 point. The 0 point, vast, infinite space. Sorry, microphone. Ends this blank canvas. Now, when you have a blank canvas, you can create anything. Okay, when you have a blank canvas, you can create anything. Anything becomes possible when you have a blank canvas. When you don't have a blank canvas, anything is not possible. So if you got a bunch of scribbles on there and old drawings and so forth, then you're limited. When you start picking up the paintbrush, then you just have to continue where you left off, right? But if it's a blank canvas, it's infinite possibilities. Now, interestingly enough, this seems to be what really scares people. They're afraid of losing everything. Losing everything. I don't want to lose everything, right? There's a fear of losing everything. There's a fear of letting go. There's a feel of surrender. There's a feel of blah, blah, blah. There's some kind of a fear of this blank, infinite canvas. And my question is, why? Why? Why is there a fear of this blank, infinite canvas? Because all you're doing is fearing who you really are. All you're doing is fearing who you really are. This infinite spaciousness is who you really are. You are the infinite spaciousness, and the infinite spaciousness is you. So all you're doing is fearing who and what you truly are. Why be afraid of yourself, right? Why be afraid of being no one? It creates the infinite space of possibility, which means, ready for it? You can become anyone. So when you realize you are absolutely no one, you now have the freedom to become anyone. That's the game changer. That's the game changer. When you realize you are absolutely no one, you now have the freedom to become anyone. That's what Ram Dass realized. That's the movie, Becoming Nobody. And that's the movie that's coming out to so many people that will going to open them up to this consciousness in a way that they've never really recognized or realized, right? They never even started inquiring into these possibilities before. So there's tremendous isn't even close to a big enough word. There's infinite. There's no limit to the freedom, the possibilities, the depth of peace, the depth of love. Let's talk about love in just a moment. And the empowerment that comes from realizing you are no one and you're nobody. So the way that love comes into it is because if I'm operating from this vast, infinite space, then I have no agenda to manipulate you in any particular way. And if you're coming from this infinite space, then you have no agenda to manipulate me in any particular way. I'm not trying to enhance my story through you. You're not trying to enhance your story through me. We're just in a state of presence with infinite possibilities together. We're in a state of presence that's potent with infinite possibilities together. And there's no sense of separation. So if I'm somebody and you're somebody, it's two different people, there's a sense of separation. Then the two people try to understand each other. They try to create a bridge, right? Let me tell you an amazing story related to the bridge. Okay, this story is going to exemplify everything I'm talking about. So I was at some kind of a meeting that had to do with getting communication or trying to understand each other or something. I go to these kind of things. So this was back in the day when I don't go to them so much anymore, but I was going to something about how to communicate and how to build bridges and so forth. So they put us in a group with like 4 other people, right? So you're at a table of 4, and you're inquiring these questions. And we're sitting there, I'm looking at these people. I don't know them so well. Maybe one or two I know a little bit, but we basically don't know each other. Very close to being strangers. And I'm thinking like really hard, how do we build a bridge between us? How do we build a bridge between us? How do we build a bridge between us? So like you're there and I'm here, right? And how do we build the bridge? How do I build a bridge from me to you, right? So I'm sitting there feeling really hard into this question. And all of a sudden, hits me like an explosion. There is no gap. That's the way, hi Carlos. That's the way it came to me. There is no gap. And my mind is just like, there is no gap. And then I'm like, guys, I have to tell you something. There is no gap. There is no gap. Like, we've been like sitting here for 30, 40 minutes, 40, whatever many minutes, trying to figure out how to make a bridge between us, but there actually is no gap. So there's actually no need to make a bridge. In fact, us trying to make a bridge is perpetuating the illusion of the gap, which is increasing the illusion of separation, but there actually is no gap. So actually, we need to stop trying to make a bridge and just realize that there is no gap. And then all 4 of us enter it. There's just this immense love that opens between all 4 of us. Now, this is what's opened so many times in the retreats and the satsangs. This is what I'm dedicated to, right? So like I've felt this many times. But this was particularly so fascinating because of this searching for the bridge, right? And then this opens, and in that space, it's like when you're in this space, it's like when someone's looking back at you and you're looking at them, it's like you're seeing a reflection of yourself through them. It's like a mirror. You're seeing a clear mirror, seeing a reflection of yourself, right? So you're looking at 3 different people, and you're seeing a reflection of yourself in each direction that you look, different manifestations, different versions, different variations of yourself. And there's absolutely no sense of separation because of this sense of being no one, this sense of being nobody, the sense of becoming nobody. That's when the sense of love arises. That's when the illusion of separation dissipates, and you rest. And in Buddhism, they call it emptiness. You know, the emptiness is a fullness, and the fullness is an emptiness. So there's just this infinite space that includes all things. And in this era where, you know, we have a president that's creating this divisive energy and separation, and other people are fighting back, and there's this energy of, you know, you got to kind of pick your team. You know, are you on the red or the blue? Are you the Democrat or you're the Republican? Are you the left? Are you the right? You know, you got to choose your side. It's like there's something that transcends the illusion of separation. This is the great news. There's something that transcends the illusion of separation. And if you're looking for the answer, that's the answer. To discover that which transcends the illusion of separation, to rest in that, to embody that, to become that, to express that in your relationships, in your work, in your life, you know, through your body, through your words, through your thoughts, through your emotions. So there's two elements here, right? There's getting popped open. So have you been popped open? Have you been popped open today? Have you been popped open last week or a month ago or a year ago? Have you been popped open yet? So the first step is to be popped open, where it's like, pow. That's the big glow, popped open, right? And if you haven't been popped open, just stay with it and you'll get popped. I assure you, you'll be popped, because when you get popped open, you're just opening to the truth of who you are. It's like a window opening that lets the air in, you know. It's like this, you're in this, your mind gets all rigid and closed and tight, and then this opens up. Get popped open, get blown open. So a great, you know, spiritual teacher, if we want to use that term, I'm not so into it myself, but guru, if you want to use that term, definitely not into that term myself. Mentors, you know, these people that what they're doing is they're just popping you open, right? So that's the first thing, is to get popped open to the truth, to the infinite essence of who you truly are and what you truly are. Hey, you guys should be sharing this with people, right? This is like amazing stuff. Like, just hit that share button, and then people just, I'm talking to the Facebook people. I don't know if there's a way to do that on Instagram. Instagram just, you know, word of mouth, I guess, the old fashioned. Oh, there is, I think, a share button there. That little airplane thing. So once you're popped, then it's the integration. That's step 2, integration. So popped open, and then the integration, which is integrating this into your life. So we want to see tangible changes in your life. Don't use spirituality as a way to bypass, as a way to avoid, as a way to escape making tangible, practical changes in your life. It is the very thing, it's the very engine that makes the practical, tangible changes in your life. It's the fuel that creates the practical. It's not a way to avoid your relationship. It's not a way to avoid your financial issues. It's not a way to avoid the job you hate. It's not a way to avoid the fact that you hate where you live. It's a way to confront all of that head on and paint something new with the canvas that's creating. Do you get it now? Do you understand it? These are the two components. And what you have is you have people focusing on one without the other. But I'm focusing on both. So you have people focusing on one without the other, and one without the other is not the full package. So you have people focusing on getting popped open, or you have people focusing on trying to improve your life. So it's like the self-improvement people or I call it the self-actualization people or the self-realization people. Self-realization people is like the one that I think of as like Eckhart Tolle, right? And then the self-actualization, self-improvement, think of Tony Robbins, right? But bring those two together and you have the whole package, right? So you have, if you're trying to do one without the other, it's like missing 50% of the whole enchilada, shall we say. But being popped open, being awakened to who you really are is by far the most important. That's numero uno. That's the foundation. That's number one. Then all these aspects of your life will improve, will shift, will transform if you are dedicated to applying accountability to your life, if you're dedicated to taking action every day, if you're dedicated to clarifying your intentions every day, right? So that's where the coaching comes in. Well, the coaching comes in for both, actually. But the coaching, for a lot of people I work with, the personal coaching is to upgrade these areas of the life through taking tangible, practical action based on the awakening to infinite possibilities. Are we making sense? Excellent. Okay, I'm going to check some comments now. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. Robin says, could a little bit of fear be a good thing? Some will say that all over the world, people are facing situations that they call into their life for one reason or another. It's true that when we talk about being nobody, you could also reverse it and say that in the realizing yourself as no one, you paradoxically realize yourself as everyone. So that's another way of articulating with that love that you just feel innately for everybody, every being, everything that exists, right? You recognize yourself as one with all that exists. Become no one to become anyone. That is exactly, that's a beautiful, concise way of saying it, Christopher Burlingham, thank you. Being willing to walk away from material security, says Robin, specifically a house, made a huge difference in my life. To have no assurance, but owning the clothes I was wearing. Yes. Hello, Jacqueline. Minor dimension, exactly what has had my brain screaming lately. That's what I am consistently feeling. I feel really lost, but this feels like I am at least on the right path. Good. Excellent. Different parties just have certain values that they each value over each other. My big thing is we can have it all. Why should it be either or? Yes to that. Yes to Corey Katuna, who's offering some great things for people online. Let's definitely check her out. More compassion, more awareness to others. Yes. Thank you, Karina. Thank you all. I can answer the question about fear. Seems somewhat fun. Is fear ever a good thing? What if we took this approach? What if we took the approach that whatever is arising is what's arising? So instead of getting caught up in it's good or it's bad, almost more like a scientist, just like looking at it, observing it, noticing how it operates, being aware of the intricacies of it. So if you notice fear inside yourself, to just really notice it, to be with it, to sit with it. What are you afraid of? Right? What are you actually afraid of? So what happens is the way we're at in the evolution of our consciousness and the evolution of humanity, mostly what people are afraid of is they're afraid of being afraid. So they're afraid of going to a situation where they're afraid, or they're afraid of becoming nobody. Right? That's the great fear, is like becoming nobody is like the worst thing that could ever happen, right? I don't want to be nobody. I want to be somebody. Someone yelled that to me one time. I am somebody. Very upset when I talk about being nobody. But when you rest in the truth, when you're dedicated to the truth and you rest in the truth of who you are, it's like a weight. You know, when we talk about enlightenment, it is like enlightenment, like becoming lighter, right? It's like a weight being lifted. You know, that frees you, that liberates you to be a clear, open channel for the universal creative intelligence to move through you, moment by moment. Hey, Smokey, fantastic. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, y'all. It's really a lot more fun when we're sharing this. Remember, you can share this with anybody. This is a co-creative energy. We're getting out some truths here that are going to be absolutely transformational for the planet, you know, for the way that we live and interact. And on the surface, there's, you know, things look bleak. They look like just a lot of unconsciousness and negativity and petty resentments and conversations. But below the surface, which is this here, something beautiful and amazing is happening. And because you're tuning in, I know you're a part of it, you know? So don't be anything except yourself, but just to recognize, right? To recognize and realize that you're a part of something special right now. We're a part of something that is a game changer for this consciousness that we're in. You know, when we awaken to this truth of who we really are, and we realize that blank infinite canvas, then we can express the creative energy that wants to move through us in the world with unlimited possibilities. So thanks for being here. If you'd like to have a personal session with me, just send me a private message. We'll make that happen. There's links to connect in the on Facebook anyway, and there's a link in Instagram on the bio to connect. I appreciate you all so much. I wish you a beautiful weekend, and see you in the next now.